If your truck is going to spend any time off pavement, be it for work or recreation, if you want more space for larger wheels and tires, or if you're just looking for that added dose of aggressive style, these pocket style fender flares are going to be an excellent choice for your 2010 to 2018 Ram 2500 or 3500. These are going to give you plenty of coverage and rugged good looks for about the lowest price in the segment. Adding a set of fender flares is a great way to update not just the look, but also the functionality of your truck. In addition to providing good looks, a set like these pocket style flares can also give your truck some added protection while out on the trail or on the job site. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, pocket style refers to these indents or pockets around the outer edges of the flare itself. Now, these usually have rivets or bolts in them. In some cases, those are functional, where they will be used to physically bolt the flare to the fender of the truck. And in other cases, they're just ornamental, such as the case here. So the bolts don't actually contact the body of the truck, they're just there for good looks. That means you don't have to drill all those holes in your truck's fenders, so there won't be issues with rust or rot later on down the line. This particular set is finished in a matte black, which adds an air of aggressiveness to your truck. That is not to say that these are just for looks though. They are made from the same ABS plastic that you find on something from the factory. So if you're out on the job site or hitting the trail, these are going to provide some excellent protection against obstacles and impacts that you might encounter. And since these are larger in height than your stock flares too, they're going to provide more protection for the body of your truck. You might have noticed that these are also a bit wider than the stock flares, measuring in at 2.6 inches in width for the fronts and 2 inches for the rears. So if you've got larger wheels and tires, or you're planning to fit those later on down the road, these will help keep the body of your truck from getting marred up by rocks or other debris. Now, you may have noticed that I only have 2 flares up here on the table. However, that is purely for space reasons. I want you guys to be able to see them. These are the flares for only one side of the truck, but in the kit you will receive 4 flares, so both sides of the truck will be covered. The flares are made from that OEM grade ABS plastic we were talking about, and they're finished, of course, in matte black. So of course you can mount these just as they come right out of the box, and it's going to complement any paint color pretty well. But you also have the option to paint them. So if your build is leaning a bit more towards subtlety and you want them color matched, or you want to go for that two-tone type of look, you have the option to paint them pretty easily, and the material will take to it quite well. This kit also comes with weather stripping for the top edge of the flares to help avoid paint damage, and everything you need to install them, short of tools, is included in the box. Pricing comes in at about $175 for the set, and that is pretty much the most affordable option in the segment. If you want to add some flares to your truck, they don't get much more affordable than these, and they're still very much a good looking quality setup. You just happen to be able to get them for a really excellent price. As far as installation goes, these are going to get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter. Now, it's going to take you some time to get these installed, figure around an hour, maybe a little bit more, but the install process is very straightforward. You do get new hardware included in the kit, and these are designed to bolt on using factory mounting locations. As you can see, they're already pre-drilled down here on the bottom. And we're going to show you what's involved right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, 5mm Allen socket, 8mm socket, a 1/2-inch wrench, pair of angle cutters or scissors, and a Phillips head screwdriver. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing some fender flares on our Ram, so let's get started. Alright, so before we can go onto the truck with our flares, there's a couple things we're going to need to do to prep our flares as well as on the truck as well. What we're going to do first is install our faux style rivets. So you're going to have 5mm Allen head bolts and a flat washer underneath that. Then on your flare, you're going to find these holes to install those. So we're going to put a bolt and flat washer through the front of each hole. And then on the back side of that, you're going to have a 1/2-inch lock nut for each bolt. So we'll do that to all of our holes. This is for every single flare. This is going to be the same process. Get this on. Your front flares are going to have 7 rivets, the rear about 10. And once you've got these all on and hand tight, you want to grab a 5mm Allen wrench or Allen socket. We're gonna run ours on our impact, and we're gonna grab a 1/2" wrench. I like to use line wrenches for these because it gives a little better grip on the bottom for that lock nut. So we'll get that onto the lock nut. And we're just gonna snug these down. You don't have to go crazy with tightening them. Then we'll do that same thing for all of our other rivets. Next, we're gonna flip our flare over. Now, doing this at home, you wanna definitely be working on a soft surface or lay down a towel or something underneath your flare so you don't scratch it up while you're trying to move it around. We're gonna install our upper seal strip. So you'll notice on the inside of this strip, it has an adhesive strip. So what we're gonna do is ride this along this outer edge, and the adhesive strip is gonna go on the inside of your flare. So you'll need to peel back some of this cover on your adhesive strip first. So just open that up, get at that cover. Sometimes they're a little stubborn. Honestly, it works better if you have some fingernail. Once you get some of it off, you want to peel back a few inches. Don't peel back everything all at once. And we're going to go on to that outer edge. You want to press that in and work your way around your flare. And as you work around, you want to keep peeling back that cover on your adhesive. And this strip does come in a big bundle. So before you start installing it, it is a good idea to kind of lay it out around the perimeter of your flare. Just kind of keeps it straighter. You can get any tangles or anything out of it beforehand. And for your front flares, you're gonna come to this point where it kind of juts in. You can run the strip all the way up front, but it's gonna sit pretty flush on the front there. So that's really your call. But if you are gonna do that, this strip does adhere to angle changes pretty well. Just work it through that angle. And then once you get to that point, we're gonna grab some angle cutters and cut this down. Now we've got our angle cutters. I'm gonna trim this down to size. Get that end in. Now once you have this in place, you wanna come back and press that inside adhesive strip down so that it'll lock onto your flare. Doesn't take a ton of pressure. You just want to make sure everywhere is pretty solidly on. Now once you've got this flare all buttoned up, you can do the same thing for the rest of your flares and we'll be ready to go onto the truck. Alrighty guys, so now that we've got our flares prepped, we're going to need to do a couple things on the truck before we can throw our flares in place. If you do have factory mud flaps, you're going to need to remove those. We have our 8mm socket. We're going to remove the 2 screws in here holding that on. First one out. Now you want to hold on to this hardware. Now sometimes you will have a 3rd screw in the back. Ours has been lost to time, but do have that, just pop that out as well. We'll set that aside. Next, we're going to leave this screw in place and we're going to remove the one above it, also with our 8mm socket. Save that as well. And there are 2 more at the front of our fender well that we need to remove. So next we're going to remove these 2 forward screws. We'll set those right on our tire for safekeeping. Then we can grab our flare and now we can set that in place after we do one more thing. All right guys, so the last thing we need to do is grab one of our protective covers and we're going to need to put that over top of this oval hole right here, so because we're going to be adding a threaded clip to it, so this will protect your paint. So you want to tuck that up behind and you can fold that over even a little bit, give it a little extra cover. And before we add our threaded clip, we're going to take our stubby Phillips head screwdriver, just poke through that. It's going to make things a lot easier to locate your screw hole. And we're going to take our threaded clip slide that into place. I'm gonna line it up with that hole you just poked. And you want the threaded portion to be inside of the fender itself. Now we can get our flare set in place. Line that up. Now this might require you to push in on this flare a little bit to get everything lined up and centered. The first screw we're going to add in is into that threaded clip we added to our fender. And we've got one of our provided Phillips head screws and our stubby screwdriver. Again, you may have to push in a good bit on this to get it to go at first. And you want to get that screw started. Get that one all the way in. Now that first screw is going to help hold our flare in place so we can reinstall our factory hardware in the other mounting holes around our flare. Again, you may need to work this around a little bit. Line everything up. And get it started by hand. And we'll tighten this one in. And we'll do the same thing up here. Again, you're kind of pushing in on your flare as well as pulling out on your fender liner because you want that threaded clip to line up. And then we'll do the same thing for our rear 3 screws. We'll get these 3 in. And with our 8mm socket is what you're using to tighten these down. And we'll get our final one in. Now we're moving on to our rear flare, and just like the front, we're going to need to remove our mud flap. So this one, again, has 3 8mm screws. Get that out, set it aside. And once you have these bottom 2 screws out for your mud flap, you'll also need to remove this next screw. Ours has been lost to time, but you definitely want to pull that one out as well. Then we can move over to the front of our wheel well and remove the 3 screws on that side that we need to take out. Now we're up in the front of our fender well, and we're going to remove the very bottom screw, skip that next one, and then remove the next 2 in line up here. Then the 2 screws closest to the center you're going to leave, and we're going to need to add in another clip at the very center of our fender. So now we're going to find our very center hole. And just like the front, we're going to add in one of those little covers. You can fold that over. And once again, we'll take our Phillips head screwdriver and open up the middle of that. And we can add in our threaded clip and line that up with the hole. Now we're gonna grab our flare. Once again, we're gonna line up that center hole first. We're gonna take our stubby Phillips head screwdriver and our provided Phillips head screw. And we'll get that in place. And again, that's gonna hold our flare. Now we can reinstall our hardware in the 3 screw holes on each side. So now we'll get our front screws in. And you wanna line those up. The factory mounting points. And we'll take our 8mm socket and tighten this one down. And we'll get our next 2. These should be a little bit easier to line up. Bottom one in. Now we'll get our 3 rear screws in. Once again, we'll line it up. Tighten that down. And we'll do the same thing for our next 2. We'll get our bottom one in. Sometimes the angle on these is going to be a little bit weird to start, but that you can use the screw to kind of pull it down in place. Now once you've got this side on, you can repeat this same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our pocket style fender flares and textured black finish for your 10 to 18 Ram 2500. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.